Today we have our speaker, Mr. Arjun Gupta with us, and our Skoolz team is also here with us. I would like to introduce our team and as well as the speaker. Mr. Arjun Gupta is the owner, the founder of Growing Miracles Montessori House of Children. He has 12 years of experience as an educationalist, and he absolutely loves the Montessori system. His school, Growing Miracles, has been awarded twice in a row as Best Montessori School in Bangalore. He is a study growth strategist for the high school students. He was a consultant for EduRide, for science and math. And in this webinar, he is helping us to find out and understand what Montessori system of education is and how different it is from any traditional education. Sir, we welcome you to our platform. Thank you for being with us.
So much. Thanks for the wonderful introduction, and it's been a pleasure being a part of you in this platform.
Thank you, sir. We also have our Skoolz team members, Mr. Kishan Muralidhar. He's a senior director for business development, and we also have Sangram Priyadarshan. He is a director for business development. Welcome, team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Swapna. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
I would like to take this opportunity to tell all our audience and viewers about Skoolz. Skoolz is an edtech startup recognized by the government of India. We are helping schools meet verified and genuinely interested parents, in addition to helping parents in searching, exploring, and comparing multiple schools and scheduling an appointment with the schools. All of this at the click of a button. We also shoulder the responsibility of parenting and the parenting journey of our parents with the support of blogs and webinars, and this is a part of that. I would like to invite Mr. Sangram to tell us more about our school platform. Mr.
Thank you,
Sangram.
Swapna. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll just, for the easier understanding, I'll just share the screen so that I can show the platform, and it'll be easier for everyone to understand our platform, how it works. So this is our main landing page. Where we have 1,500 preschools are there and 150 plus K-12 schools are there, and also we have 75 plus different informations to compare and to analyze. So basically this platform helps to search, compare, and fix appointment, and if in a submission of the application forms. And we have, so we can categorize this as preschools, day schools, online schools, boarding schools, day-come boarding schools, and we have also placed that trending schools and the place you are staying actually when you're searching as a parent near you. What are the schools? All details are there, and we also organize a lot of events and webinars weekly, twice, and today's webinar you can see that we're already posted here on our platform. And next week the art and science of parenting is coming up. We have already scheduled for next Saturday, sorry, 15th. And also on our platform, you can see more than 50 plus blogs written by experts. And we have also, as Swapna introduced, we have also awarded one of the startup by Startup India. And so also we have a lot of blogs, events, and other details we have. As I told you, we can search and compare different schools on our platform. For example, I have given this information, the schools. For example, I stay at K. Narayanpura. If I'll search school near to my locations and give this option search, so we can find that from distance, starting from my home, 0.5 kilometer, the first one, the Kabira Preschool, following with different schools, and on the corner you can see the distance from my locations. So that really helped us to understand how far the school are from our locations. And also we have a facility like compare. We can compare. For example, there are 3 to 4 schools we liked, but we want to compare in terms of different features like fee structure, the benefits they're giving, and we can compare. For example, for benefit of time, and I've actually compared 3 different schools: Kabira, Daisy Montessori, and ILM Pathway preschools. So we can see the establishment here, the school strength, and what are the different activities they're providing, along with the fees also. What is the range of fees, different schools offering, so we can compare. And also, as I've mentioned, so whatever the webinars we're organizing, already we are posting it on a weekly basis. Right hand side, already the webinars already have conducted before, we have posted it. Also, you can always go to our YouTube channel, and all the webinars that are posted actually we uploaded there. For example, today's webinar, you can see it after 2 days on our YouTube channel. Also, as we mentioned, we are 50 plus different blogs written by experts, and it is uploaded here on a platform. So I request everyone after this session to spend at least half an hour time to browse this platform and understand how it is going to help you and your friends to get the right information on our platform. So thank you very much. This is all about Skoolz, and I just hand over to Swapna. Thank you very much. Over to Swapna.
Thank you, Sangram, for that bird's view about Skoolz. But believe me, so much of convenience, so much of information, so much access to not only the schools that are closest to you, the information that we have here, which has all been authenticized and verified. Please explore the webpage. I'm sure you will come out satisfied with that. And with this, I would like to, our speaker has been waiting to give us our insights about Montessori system. Sir, thank you again for being here. We are looking forward to learning more about the Montessori system. So the stage is all yours.
So much. Thank you. And congratulations to Skoolz for creating such a platform for parents so that they spend less time in searching and get valuable information, which is very much important in today's world because no one has so much of patience to go through each and everything. So that comparison really helps parents to get what they want. So congrats on that. And so today my topic is why Montessori system of education is so powerful and how is it different from a traditional school. Preschool, it's the same whether it's a Montessori or a traditional school, we call it preschool because preschool is nothing but a school before the school, actual school. So it's preschool. So when I use the word preschool, it includes Montessori as well as the traditional system of education. Okay. And okay, so let me ask parents here, tell me top 3 reasons why you want to put your child into a preschool. If you can please use the chat box. Yes, Swapna, is it available for the audience?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's available for them. They are
today you're going to get clarity. The parents are going to get clarity exactly why, first of all, you have decided to put your child into a preschool. The top 3 reasons, don't think too much. Whatever is there in your mind, if you can use the chat box.
Sir, I think one of the reasons they're looking out for is, will my child be at the center of the system? That's, I think, is one that we see there. And another one is to develop early childhood literacy. And another question, introduce them to get along with new people and openness, get ready for actual school. So these are all some of the things that is coming in.
Thanks for the input parents. This is what 95% of the parents think along. This is what exactly parents think. My child should be ready for first standard interview, or my child should get into first standard. So that is why you need to put into a preschool. First reason. The second reason will be, I want around 3 hours of time at home for relaxing or to do my work. I'll put my child into a preschool. Okay. Or because of peer pressure, okay, my sister's son is going to a preschool, I will also put my child into a preschool. My neighbor's child is going to a preschool, I also put into a preschool. This is what the actual reasons most of the parents give when I tell them not to think and just answer. Right? Yes, I completely understand what is your thought process, but you need to really understand why a preschool is a must for a child. Okay? So there are a lot of reasons that you need to put your child. What will happen to your child if you don't put your child into a preschool? First, I'll explain a few things about that, and then I'll get into why Montessori when you prefer a preschool. When your child if your child doesn't go to a preschool, then your child can't follow instructions. If your child is not going to a preschool, your child will have no social behavior at general. If your child is not getting into a preschool, then the child's confidence will be very low. Your child's self-esteem will not develop, right? The child will not have time management, because if the child is going to a preschool, the child knows that exactly the child should get up by 7:30, so that the child should be ready for the school by 9 o'clock.
True.
The child will understand the child should have the bath, the child should eat the food and get ready. The discipline, right? Apart from all these things, it's the academics part, which is very, very much important to a child, right? So this should be your reasons to put your child into a preschool, and not because of preparing the child for first standard, preparing the child for a bigger school, or preparing the child for something else. This is how you should have clarity about why you should choose a preschool and why you should put your child into a preschool, right? Okay. So this is the first part of awareness that you should have, that, okay, I need to put my child into a preschool. And one more myth that parents have is, anyway, they teach ABCD 1, 2, 3, I'll teach at home only, no? So why should I really spend 50,000 or 1 lakh for a preschool per year, right? It's not about ABCD, it's not about 1, 2, 3. I completely understand. As a mother, you can teach anything for your child, right? So now let me understand, as I told you the basic details about why you should put your child into a preschool. Now I'll tell you also what is the psychological and the scientific things that happens to a child at the age of 2 to 6 years. Science has proved, there's a lot of theory in the Google, YouTube, you can check it. Up to the age of 6 years, 90% of the brain development happens. 90. So just imagine how crucial the age of 2 to 6 years is for your child. Whatever the child is going to pick up, whatever the child is going to listen, whatever the child is going to read, whatever the child is going to experience, everything from emotional, mental, physical, everything. That is what your child's future is going to be. So this is one of the most important reasons for a preschool, because up to the age of 6 years, 90% of the brain development happens. Now, let's get into why Montessori. First of all, most of the parents really don't understand Montessori. They feel it's another daycare, it's another crush, it's another play home, right? But please understand, Montessori is completely different from a daycare, from a crush, or whatever, any other traditional systems that you're looking at. Okay, Dr. Maria Montessori was a person who started with the concept of Montessori, and we generally call, like my school, Growing Miracles. It is called Growing Miracles Montessori House of Children. It is called House of Children. It's not called Montessori Growing Miracles School of Children, right? So any Montessoris, in generally they name it as House of Children, because Dr. Maria Montessori started everything at her home, and she wanted to give that homely experience to the children, right? So that is how it is. And there's a lot more articles that you can read about Dr. Maria Montessori and understand how powerful system she has developed to the world. And the best part is she has not patented it. That is the reason most of the preschool owners misuse it by using it. Ours is also a Montessori school. Okay, any person in the world can use the name Montessori and do anything with it. On the other hand, yeah. So what is Montessori? How is Montessori different from a traditional school? When I say traditional school, a lot of things come into picture. I don't want to name the famous brands as such, but understand. And then general preschools or the local standalone schools which you see near your house and all those things. Okay, so those type of schools will come into picture. Okay, so Montessori is divided into 5 fields: EPL, Sensorial, Language, Math, and Culture. I'll explain each and one everything in the maybe not in too much of detail, but with limited time. What is EPL? EPL means exercise of practical life. Means what we do in our daily lives. It can be self-care, environment care, others care. Okay, so in a Montessori school in Growing Miracles, we teach the children from basic things of how to do a namaste, to how to offer coffee, how to offer water, or how to sweep a floor, how to wipe the table, how to set the table for dinner, right? All the basic things will be teaching. How to put on the buttons of the shirt, how to put on the zip of the pant. Each and everything will be taught. So the child will be not dependent on anyone, right? And there is a lot of gross development movements, motor skill movements, everything, pincer movements, everything happening with these activities. So the child will understand the child is responsible for his environment or her environment. The child is responsible for himself or herself, where the actual confidence level improves, the self-esteem improves with the child. Okay, that is the first part of EPL. And the second part comes the sensorial. The sensorial is again, we have 5 senses, everyone know about it. And for your brain to develop, for your brain to understand anything, all the inputs should be coming from your 5 senses. Any development that you see in your brain is because of all the inputs that are you're receiving from your 5 senses. Okay, so we try to arrange things in such a way, the materials are designed in such a way so that the child will get the overall sensorial experience and feeling with the materials. With respect to the visual sense, there are different things as simple as a small cube and a big cube, a pin tower. So with respect to visual sense is active, the muscular sense is active. For a small cube, the child will just hold it like this, but for a big, the child has to hold the cube like this, right? So many movements which will be involved there. And next comes the auditory sense. We have something called noise boxes, which has around 6 set of boxes, which is from soft to loud. So the child will understand, okay, this is the sound of a soft sound. This is going to be loud. The difference between a soft and loud, and grading from soft to loud, pairing activity from soft to soft, loud to loud. Okay, like this, lot of activities will be there. And with respect to, we have the tasting buds activity. We'll give them a lime, we'll give them sugar, we'll give them different things and make them to taste with their eyes blindfolding. So that is seeing through the taste, seeing through the tongue. So the child has to taste it and say, oh, this is the taste of this, this is the taste of this. Smell. Okay, the child will understand how will this particular material smell, how will this particular, like how the wood smells, right? Or how a flower smells, or how a sweet smells, right? All those things. So those type of things, and lot more activities to explain. We have varieties of activities which happens in sensorial, so that the inputs are all strong enough for the child to build the basic stage of development in the brain, right? So those things happens in the sensorial part. And next we come to the language part. Language part, Montessori goes through phonetics, and phonetics is very important in our English language, because any regional language that you take, whether Kannada or Hindi or Telugu, anything, the name of the letter and the sound of the letter is the same. When we say a, it's a, e, it's e, but in English it's not like that. The name of the letter is a, the sound of the letter is a. When I say apple, we say a, we don't say apple, right? So we don't use the sound, we don't use the names of the letter, we use the sounds of the letter. So we teach children phonetics, which is very important. And what is the advantage of phonetics? The advantage of phonetics is the child need not memorize. The child need not write it 20 times, 30 times, like how we did C-A-T cat, C-A-T cat, C-A-T cat. The child will understand cat, cat. That's it. Reading becomes very easy. The child will pick up reading very easily. Writing is like really easy for the child, because the child need not memorize the words, as most of us did, including me, that we all went to a traditional school. And we need to by heart. Even today, if word or the Grammarly was not there, you will understand how many mistakes you'll be making in your spellings. If the whole document, you have 20 red lines, and we need to correct it. Luckily, technology is saving us, right? So otherwise, we should have so much of difficulties with respect to spellings, and all those things will happen. And sentence development and all those things will be much more easier in the Montessori methodology. Apart from that, when we come to writing, we use always cursive writing, because the science behind cursive is continuous flow. Correct? There's no break. So your thoughts will also flow continuously. That is the reason we use cursive in Montessori, right? And at the same time, when the flow of thoughts are flowing and that handwriting, and especially the pincer movements should be so perfect and accurate that if you see a cursive, it's not easy to write, it's difficult to write. So we are throwing up a challenge to the child saying that you pick this up, you win this challenge, other things is going to be fun for you and easy for you. So we are challenging the child and making the child believe that the child can win in that challenge, and at the same time, science behind it, right? So many things involved in that, and lot more is involved in with respect to language part. We go and explain the difficulties in English by the age of they're around 4 years, 5 years. We teach them the phonograms and all those things, the NG words, the CH words, and all those things. By when they're in UKG, that is M3, we are literally going to. I myself learned when I understood what is Montessori and all those things. There's something called meta thesis and all those things like that. So many things are there. We say temple, okay? P-E-L or P-L-E. The sounding is different. The spelling is different. There's something called what is it? Double terminal consonants. We say bell, but we write double L, right? So why should we write double L? Just B-L is bell, right? But again, you need to write double L. And for like ice, we say I. But for igloo, we say E. Why should we use, when should we use I and when should we use E? Right? So many things the child is going to learn. And our school students, by the age of 4.5, they'll be able to read storybooks because they would have learned all these things. Right? So that is how the language will go on, and they'll come by the end of UKG, that is by the end of 3rd year, the child will be writing paragraphs, the child will be able to write an essay and all those things, right? So that is how powerful language is. Then we come to math. Math, most of the parents tell that my child knows 1 to 100 numbers. My child already can tell up to 1,000. I just ask the child, can you just give me 6 chocolates? The child doesn't know to count 6 and give. The child only knows numbers from 1 to 1,000. It is not important for the child to by heart numbers 1 to 1,000. The child should understand the quantity, the association of the symbol and the quantity, the name and the quantity and the name. All the 3 associations should happen. So when I say give me 1,300, give me 30 chocolates, the child should be able to count 30, 1, 2, 3 and pick it up and give. Right? And we have some material which is called the decimal system. Okay, we are going to teach, okay, this is going to be unit, this is going to be tens, this is going to be hundreds, thousands. So the child will understand, okay, 1,000 is so much. So if I just tell you to imagine, close your eyes and imagine 20,000 students in an auditorium. You have no clue how much that 20,000 is. Or when you see the cricket match, you see the stadium, you don't know how many people are there, because for you quantity is something that we have not learned. We can't imagine things. But in Montessori, we make the child imagine the quantities with the help of the materials. That is very, very important for the child to understand all those things. The same thing, that different associations will happen, these things will happen. Most important, the fun part is with respect to addition, multiplication and all those things. Okay. So now example, if I say 3 plus 3, you say 6. Okay. Now, what is multiplication? Multiplication is you have to add the multiple times, right? Like maybe if I say 3, what is 3? 6 are. So you'll have to put 3 6 times and you'll give 18, right? Then what is the difference between addition and multiplication? The difference between addition and multiplication is you put unequal quantities together. In multiplication, you put equal quantities together. The child will explore all these things, which generally will not happen in a regular traditional school. The child will understand the difference between subtraction and division in the same way. Division is exactly dividing it, but whereas subtraction is just unequal division. Right? So all these things the child is going to understand in math. And then you come to culture. culture, it's a vast thing that we teach in Montessori. The first and the most important thing that we teach in Montessori is social behavior, what you call as good manners, right? The child will understand so many things, how to respect other child's work, because all the children will be working in an environment. The child can't cry saying that I want that material, I want that material. At home, you would have seen if one child picks up one toy, the other child will also want that toy. But in Montessori, we have just one set of materials, and the child will learn to be patient till the other child finishes that work and puts it back in the shelf. We don't keep two sets. That is the rule. We have a mixed age group in Montessori. The elder one will know how to take care of the younger one. The younger one will know how to respect the elder one. Up to college, we always study in the same age group. Once you get into the real life, you get into colleges, the owner will be 60 years old. The newcomer will be 20 years old. You will be 30 years old. You don't even know how to talk to a 60-year-old person or how to handle a 20-year-old youngster. But in the Montessori environment, we give that environment of mixed age group so that the child will understand, okay, this is how it is going to be. Right? So these things will happen, and lot more celebrations. We celebrate each and every festival in Montessori. Most of the preschool, the traditional schools do that, because whenever you get into any preschool, you see only the photos of creating bel puri, Christmas tree, all those things. So yes, they're also being very good at doing all those things with preschools, with traditional schools. So all these things, celebrations is part of it. Prayers, shlokas, Sanskrit shlokas. A 3-year-old child will be able to recite Sanskrit shlokas in our school. Why is Sanskrit really necessary? Do we use it in our daily life? No. It is because of the tongue movement, the articulation, what you call. That will help, because Sanskrit is a difficult language where there's so much of movements of your lips, teeth, tongue, throat, everything. Right? So those things will happen. Apart from that, we also teach the National Anthem. We start with that. So children will understand, okay, when National Anthem comes, we need to stand. If you don't know to sing also, they know the basic patriotism. Okay, we need to stand, we should not move. So these type of things, there's so many things that happens in culture. With respect, experiments will be conducting experiments like simple thing as like floating and things like, or hot and cold, okay, light fraction about it, reflection and all those things. So those things will be happening. And this is about the curriculum of Montessori, which is just put in a nutshell for you, which is explained. I think I have not even explained 20% of actual thing. So this is about how Montessori works, and I'll just end up saying, what is the difference between a traditional school and a Montessori school? Why should I choose a Montessori school over a traditional school? In a Montessori school, the child is an active participant and teacher is a passive participant. In a traditional school, the teacher is going to teach, so the teacher is the active participant and child is going to sit and listen, so the child is the passive participant. It's a mixed age group in Montessori, and I've told you the benefits of it. In a traditional school, it's generally the same age group of children sit in a class, right? And apart from that, in a traditional school, the teacher sets the pace of learning. But in a Montessori environment, the child sets the pace of learning. The child will understand, okay, the child is taking time to understand this. The child can work for even half an hour on that material. In traditional school, if the child is changing the page, if the teacher is changing the page, the child should turn to the next page, whether the child understood the present page or not, right? And one-to-one presentations happen in a Montessori most of the times. In a traditional, it is one-to-many which happens, right? And traditional, generally the emphasis on academics, but in Montessori, it is holistic, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, everything the child will be experiencing it in an environment. And yes, so Montessori is the way to go, and I would really suggest parents to go for a Montessori school than any traditional school. And yes, I think I was talking to Swapna that day, and I was telling her an example. To put everything in a simple way, why Montessori or why a traditional school, I'll tell you. In a traditional school, the child has to learn A to Z in order. If the child doesn't learn A to Z in order, the child will be given B grade, C grade, D grade, or something like that. As a Montessorian, I ask only one question. Tell me in this whole world where you use ABCD in order. Anywhere in this whole world where you use ABCD in order. Then why should the child learn in order? The child should know 26 letters. Correct? This is the exact difference between a Montessori and a traditional school. Thank you so much. I'm open for questions. Any doubts you can please ask.
Sir, will the chat box is kindly make use of it, audience and viewers. Post us all your questions. Arjun sir is here. He'll answer all your queries and he'll definitely clarify. Sir, very interesting to know that you take children's on almost an adventure. Blindfolded tasting, smelling, seems like an adventure. So very interesting to know that. And also I was the mystery of alphabets also is something that you're demystifying it for the children, the E sounds, how to associate it with an alphabet. Wonderful to know, sir. I'm sure our audience and viewers are also finding it very interesting. Sir, we have a question. What are the other methods we have? And the types of schools for children is one that we have. Would you like to take that up, sir?
So other methods, there are a lot of methods to say. There's Waldorf method, the kindergarten method, and Montessori method, obviously one part of it. There is this multi-approach kind of a method. So what is happening is the businesses, sometimes the preschools are getting into such a kind of thing. They are using different words and still teaching the same traditional method. Right? So many methods are there. And it's not that the other methods are bad and only Montessori is good. There's nothing like that. Every method has its own plus points and negative points, right? So, but when you really look into the depth and science and psychology of the things, then you feel that Montessori is much more better. There's a lot of methods, yes.
Definitely. Sir, Mr. Prashant is here is very appreciative. He thanks, he's appreciative that it's a very good and detailed explanation. Sir, we have one more question from Mr. Madhavu. He's asking, what is the right age for a kid to get into preschool?
So generally, as per the government guidelines or the new NEP guidelines and all those things, 3 years is the right age for nursery. Okay. But many schools take the children by 2.5 years only. But I'm really against it. 3 years is the right age for nursery because that is the exact age where their senses will be activated for many things. Okay. So we call it as sensitive periods in Montessori. The sensitive periods to talk properly, the sensitive periods for their pincer movements, right? For a lot of things will be there. So 2.5 is not the right age for nursery. 2 years, you can get your child into a toddler group or infant Montessori, what we call it as. Okay, so the child can get into infant Montessori at the age of 2 years or 2.5 years. But I would really request parents to join your child with minimum 3 years, plus or minus 1 or 2 months to a nursery. Don't hurry up or don't try to save money or 1 year of time just because you need to push your child into something. Because most of the parents who come to our school, see, I am into this field from past 12 years, I am running the school from past 12 years. The first 5 years, it was a big tug of war between me and parents. Parents want a 2.5-year child to get into nursery. I told I can't give and I explained them. But today, we are so stabilized and we know exactly what to talk. So today, parents, when they come, we clearly tell them 3 years plus or minus 1 to 1.5 months, we will take into nursery. If you're looking for just for admissions, we are not the people. If you're just looking for some school, we are not the people. Only if you understand methodology, if you understand Montessori, you understand psychology, and you really want to see your child growth, then come to our school. Otherwise, you get into other schools. There are some schools who give at 2 years also they take for nursery. They say, yeah, please come, we'll take.
Sure, sir. The child's requirement should definitely be taken care of. So we have a couple of questions about NEP and how it reflects into the preschool. Could you?
Being very frank, till now, our education minister only doesn't know how it's going to be implemented. Okay, so many people are talking about NEP, so many people are conducting about webinars. I recently spoke to one of the B of South Zone. He was telling, sir, no one knows about NEP. First of all, how much will, and the Indian government has told that NEP can be, as per the state, they can choose what they want. Okay, they can pick up the points what they want, they can readjust themselves to their each state. So every state are picking up the way they want, and NEP, only thing that we know in NEP is there is a structure change. From nursery to second standard, it comes under one structure. Again, from third to I think 7th standard, it comes to another structure. In 8th to 12th, it comes under another structure. At least with respect to universities and colleges, they have little idea about how things are going to come, that you can stop your education for a year and then get back into your education again and all those things. But here, we all preschool owners even doesn't know whether preschools will get an permission to start first standard or not. So everyone is in the dark. Exactly what rules are going to be implemented, we don't know. But as of now, you can understand that NEP is trying to make syllabus child friendly.
Definitely, sir. And
pressure of memorizing or just for the sake of marks and all those things. Slowly it is changing, but we don't know how many years it's going to take.
hopefully soon, sir. And at this point, I would like to take this opportunity to tell all our viewers that we have done a webinar on NEP, an amazing, a whole lot of information about NEP. Kindly visit our YouTube channel, and there you will find that an extensive information is there through specialists. So that is for Smriti and one more person who has asked about NEP. You will find all your clarifications. Please do check that out. So the other questions we have here is Montessori system is really great, and you have made it very interesting for all of us. Why is it not reflected in grades 1 to 10? In Bangalore, it seems like we have only 2 schools or something like that. So why is it a challenge to bring Montessori?
I told you at the, what happens is what I told you at the start of the thing, that Montessori is not patented. So there's no patent for Montessori, and the government of Karnataka doesn't recognize Montessori as such, or government of India as an education system. So why the reason Montessori, the elementary Montessori are all not famous is because once you study in a Montessori, elementary of Montessori, when you want to write your 10th exam, you need to separately apply for the board and write your exam. You can't write it directly from a Montessori school. Yeah. That is first thing. Second thing, awareness of Montessori is not there in India much. Very 5 to 10% of the people know about Montessori. So the awareness itself is not there. What will Montessori, how will Montessori change, right? A child's life. So that knowledge is not there, awareness is not there, and Montessori schools are generally a little expensive because of the number of students that we take is limited, and the materials are very expensive. All wooden materials, few things are, even teakwood materials are used. So the setup of a Montessori school is expensive. Because the setup is expensive, and the teacher training is also a little expensive in a Montessori, for a Montessori training. And not everyone will understand Montessori so easily. So the real passion should be there to understand Montessori and all those things, the psychology of Montessori. Because the fees is also high, there's a lot of disadvantages because of few things like this. Montessori system of education is not being recognized, or people don't know about it. There are a lot of schools in Bangalore itself now for the Montessori. There's the most in number one school, not number one school, very old school is the Head Start in Kormangla and Sarjapur Road. I think they're 25 years plus. And again, yeah, in Malleshwaram, we have one of the schools. There is some schools in Kanakpura Road which has come up now for the elementary grade and all those things. Even in elementary, the first, second, third standard children are put together. Again, fourth, fifth, sixth are put together like that. Okay. So most of the parents don't understand all those things. Why that is important and how it is. They get scared, oh, ICSE, CBSE is not there, or what if I shift my place, or what if I go to other state or leave, go to abroad and all those things, then how can I handle my child's education? So these type of lot of things will be there. But as of now, we have, yes, I think around 5 to 6 schools in Bangalore who are handling elementary students up to the grade of 6th or 8th. I think Sarjapur Head Start has almost reached 9th or 10th standard.
So we would say that awareness and the expense is a challenge into bringing it to mainstream. So there's a question related to this, like our audience have a question about like the child, a kid who goes through early learning in a Montessori system. When the child enters the mainstream education, state cbse, icse, how will the child adjust?
This is, I think, very, very important and a very common question for any parent who wants to choose Montessori. See, Montessori, as I told you, will build a child's confidence, will build a child's self-esteem, will build how should the child get adapted and the flexibility to adapt in any environment. Because the child is ready for all these things, the child can easily get adapted to first standard. And also most of the Montessori schools, including our school, the last 6 months, we give them little of bench setup in the school itself. So where the teacher is standing and the children are learning from the board and all those things. So we also give that taste of that elementary traditional system. So children will get adapted very easily.
Yeah, so the transition is planned for the children. So that's definitely reassuring for every parent there. So another question we have is Montessori system, as you rightfully said a little while before, everybody can put that name on, but how can a parent recognize a pure Montessori system of teaching?
Okay. First and foremost thing, if the name has house of children, then it is the authentic Montessori school. That is the first thing that you will understand. Second thing, when you enter the Montessori environment, there are no classroom structures as such. It will be one big hall or something like that. Third thing, all the materials will be arranged at the child's height. It will not be put in a cupboard under lock and key, or it will not be put in an adult's height. All the materials that you see, okay, will be put to the child's height, and it will be kept open. There is no closing as such. Okay, and you see a lot of materials filled with, the classroom is filled with materials. It's not just one shelf or two shelves. Like if you come into my school, you see like, what to say, more than 300 to 400 materials kept for the children to work with. It's not only one duck, one hen, and this one play toys. It's not play toys. Okay, it's proper Montessori materials, reading materials, and a lot more things. Geography, the culture, maps, and all those things. Okay, all those things will be. So when you see, have a look around the classroom, you will see the materials there. Okay, that is one more thing. And the other thing, when you ask the director or the principal of the school, can you explain me about Montessori? You will understand whether they know Montessori or is it a true Montessori school by the by the way they talk. If they say, yeah, Montessori is also one kind of system. Yeah, Montessori, nowadays no one is liking Montessori. It's not a Montessori school at all. Okay, so if you ask, I've really tested some people and I went and asked, tell me about Montessori. Yeah, Montessori, I think it's some hands-on work, something they do. Yeah, correct. No, sir, but this method is very nice. You listen to me there. So it's like that. So once you talk to the principal or the center head or the director there, you will understand how much knowledge they have in Montessori. These are a few things that you need to check. So by this itself, you will understand, okay, is it a Montessori school or not? And one more thing you need to ask them, is it a mixed age group? If you see it's a mixed age group, it's an authentic Montessori school. If you see there is no mixed age group, then yeah.
Sure, I'm sure our parent community has a little bit more information about authenticating a Montessori system. So another question is Montessori system.
Tell the parents, please don't go by the certifications of, okay, this school is certified, that school is certified. I was so upset when one of the preschool told me, ISO certified 9001 something. Hello, what is ISO? Why does the preschool require an ISO certificate? Some schools are branding, we are ISO certified preschool. They
I've
don't
seen
know
that.
what is IS also, they don't know. And these kind of things, so don't fall to certificates of, okay, this is certified, this school is certified with IMC, this school is certified with IMS, this school is certified with some other institution, this school is certified, all those things. It's, you go get in and understand the reality, the ground reality.
True, sir. So another question is, in the other parts of the world, do we find Montessori system from grade 1 to 10?
In the other parts of the world, Montessori is followed very well there. Okay, and first to 10, being very open, I don't know whether throughout the world you get first to 10 elementary education of Montessori, but the pre-elementary, that is from 2 years to 6 years of age group, we have a lot of Montessori schools around the world.
Definitely, sir. Sir, very another interesting question from Irana is that, is Montessori system based on writing? Do you teach it till for kids as young?
I was just
5
expecting why
years?
this question has not yet right.
No, Irana do have this question, sir.
See, Montessori, we are not against writing. First and foremost thing, parents should understand, Montessori is not against writing. Montessori tells that start at the right age. Okay, so generally the right age is somewhere around 3.8 to 4.5 years. Generally, there is a Montessori says around 4 years the child is ready to write. That is the sensitive period for a child to write. Now, what traditional schools happens is they have nothing else to give. They don't have materials to give. What they want, ABCD. So first thing they do in a traditional school is start with ABCD. So we are telling as soon as the child enters at the age of 2 years or 3 years, we don't give ABCD. We tell that there are a lot of activities for the wrist movement, for the finger movements, for the pincer movements, okay, elbow movements, shoulder movement, and all those things. Then we allow the child to write. When we do that, then the child can write beautifully. The child can write without stress. If a Montessori child with the proper practice writes right, you don't see the impression on the next page. The child exactly knows how much pressure the child should give. Okay. If you don't give all these activities to the child and directly give a pencil to the child and tell the child to write, if the child writes, you can see the impression on the next 3-4 pages.
Okay.
So we are not against writing. We tell there is a time for it. Wait. So once the child is ready, we prepare the child, we prepare the ground for the child. Then the child will automatically write. If you tell the child not to write, also the child will write. The child will write in the air. The child will write on the plate. The child will start on the wall. All those things will happen. So writing is given. That's what I told you. No, we teach cursive writing. That is the most difficult thing for a child to do. And by the age of 5.5 to 6 years, children write beautiful. So that's about writing for Mr. Yuran.
So it's not as such that writing is not encouraged in Montessori system. It is just getting the skills, the ability of the child to the. Yes, sir. Sir, this ideal ratio for a student and teacher ratio in the Montessori system. That's the question we have from
Maria Montessori says 35:1. Okay, so because she tells that you should allow the child to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes. Now, what is happening is, if there is example 5 children is to 1 teacher, the teacher will not allow the child to make mistakes. Then how will the child learn without doing mistakes? Because the real life is something different, right? There's no, once you are out of college, once you're out, when you're 23, 24 years old, who is going to guide you? This is wrong, this is right. You should do yourself and learn that this is right, this is wrong. Why so many suicides are happening? IIT people are getting into suicidal mode. Are they not smart? They don't know how to handle failures. If you are able to teach the child at the age of 2 years handling failure, then any kind of failure the child can manage in life. Because the child is failing and the child is learning. The teacher is not coming and bombarding. No, stop. This is not what you have to do. But still, 35:1 is not possible in today's world. So we generally maintain around 10 to 12 children is to 1 teacher. I really pity some schools who say we have 5 children is to 1 teacher, and parents feel that is something very nice. Your child, the teacher will not allow the child to make any mistakes in life. The teacher is always hovering like that helicopter parenting, you say, no, that can, hey, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. This is not the way to do. Stop. The child is learning with so much of pressure where the child is not even allowed to expose or experiment things in life, then what will the child grow to? So don't be so happy because don't choose a school because the ratio between children and teacher is less. Less means I'm talking about like 5:1, 7:1 and all those. Anything between 10 to 12 or 13 maximum is to 1 teacher is the perfect combination. It's happening, but most of the schools are using it as the marketing strategy to tell that, okay, we give more attention, more focus. But no one is understanding the psychology of more attention and more focus.
So thank you for giving such an elaborate answer for Mr. Shiv Prakash. He had asked that question, so I'm sure he's satisfied with that answer. It's a lot of information you have given us, and we still have few questions coming in. How many grades a child should go through before admitting to first standard or at 6 years?
Generally 3 to 6 years, that is 3 years of preschooling, but infant Montessori also works wonders for the children because that is again preschooling. So 2 years, the child will understand. Younger the child, better the results. So 2 to 6 years is 4 years of education, preschool education, right? But if you feel, some parents feel 2 years is too small for a child to do it and all those things. That is why I'm telling you, up to the age of 6 years, 90% of your brains, if your child's brain will be developed. So the faster you put, better the development.
Sir, our parent community, Mr. Shiv Prakash has said that he got his answers and he's thankful to you for that. Sir, plenty of questions have been given, and you have taken your time and given us the answer. So I would request our viewers, the parent community that is here watching and learning about the Montessori system. If you have any more questions, kindly post it on our platform. We will be more than happy to pick it up and get you those answers. I'm sure Mr. Arjun would help us with that. Sir, I hope that's fine with you.
Absolutely. I'm any day available to propagate Montessori, to tell parents how powerful the Montessori is, because I have fallen in love with Montessori system and the way the things work, because there's pure psychology, nothing else. It's pure psychology, pure power of subconscious mind. If people understand the power of subconscious mind, there's nothing else they have to do in their lives. So once all those things will be implemented in the child will not be thought about the power of subconscious mind, but the subconscious mind will be made powerful with all these activities into it, right? So we really have to work towards developing the subconscious mind of children, because that is when we can create future leaders, better leaders. It's not about just academics or scoring, getting first rank or something like that. So personality is important. A person's personality will really define their life.
Definitely, sir. So much of insight that you've given us into Montessori system. Some of the things like now the wholesome growth seems to be at the core of the system. The warmth of a home is also assured here. I especially liked how you instill practical skills, the real relatable things for a child to learn and implement into their life. Absolutely loved hearing about all of that, and I'm sure our parent community and all our audience here are also enriched by it. Sir, looks like the questions are that's the questions we have. The rest would be posted on our platform, and we'll take it to you. And so thank you so much for giving us so much of insight on that. So I thank all our audience also who have been here and listening and asking all those questions. Kindly check on our platform skoolz.in for all the updates and the future events. And believe me, we have quite a lineup of interesting webinars for you. As I said earlier, we shoulder the journey of parenting. We take it a little seriously. Skoolz is all about connecting schools and parents, but we also help you along the way. So kindly do check in, and you'll find a lot of interesting upcoming stuff there. I thank Mr. Kishan Murlidhar, our Senior Director for Business Development, for being with us today, and also Mr. Sangram, our Director for Business Development. Thank you, Sangram. Thank you, Kishan.
Thanks, Mr.
Thank you,
Arjun.
sir.
That was
And
really
also-
wonderful. That was a wonderful insight about Montessori. I'm sure that all our audience and we also got to know what exactly is the Montessori training. And I really I would thank a lot, because for most of us, it was only preschool as such in the mindset of any parent. Though our children have already got over that phase of life, we only had got to know it is preschool. But now you've given a wonderful insight about Montessori. Thanks for that, and thanks for your time in coming onto our platform. And we'll look forward for more to come over a period. Thanks,
Thank
thanks,
you so
team.
much.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you, Arjun sir. Has been a pleasure for us to have you on our platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent.